Hi, my name is Michelle,
And my name is Terry.
and we are Widows Helping Widows. And today we are interviewing and talking to a good friend of ours, Dave, and our other good friend, his wife, Ellen. And Dave joined our group about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yep.
And we would like to ask Ellen a couple questions too from her perspective because we talk to widowers and widows all the time, but it's a whole different perspective when you talk to the spouse of someone who has married a widow or widower. So,
That's right.
what are a couple of things that you can tell us and maybe tell people who are thinking about maybe they're engaged or they're dating a widow or widower, things that you learned or experienced when you started dating Dave?
Yes, hello, I'm Ellen. We've been married now for 4 years. And from the beginning, of course, he told me that he was a widower. And I never felt that this was like a threat or competition to me or something that I needed to strive to be on the level or whatever. I just thought it was something tragic that I always needed to respect the memory of this person. And every time, like I've gone to the cemetery with him several times, that I know he has a big place in his heart for her, but she's gone. She's not
Right.
gonna come and take
Right.
him from me.
Right.
And this is a lovely person. We have a great relationship. So I just help him as I can, but I don't see this as something that's a problem.
Good.
That's good. That's really
And
good.
I think, being in our spot too, you wonder, like, is someone gonna understand that
That's
it's
exactly
different? It's different than divorce. You still love that person, and they died while you're still in that loving relationship, so it's a little different than
Absolutely.
divorce. But even in divorce, I could see you still are always probably have some feelings for that other spouse you had. It's natural. Not necessarily all the time, but
Right.
it can happen for
Right.
sure. You have memories together, you have experiences together.
It's still a loss.
It's still a loss.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
And she brought up an interesting point because she mentioned about going to the cemetery. And we talk a lot about, like, when do you know a person is, like, the right connection?
Right.
And you always wonder, is this person going to really appreciate me for who I am and not worry about the situation that I found myself in? And I guess she really put the hook in me, in lack of better terms, when we were down there and we went to the cemetery, and I said a prayer, and then she went over there to the grave and she said something, and then she came back to me, and I was kind of curious about what she was feeling at that point. And she basically expressed to me something that was so heartfelt that I felt like I was going to just grab her and just hug her forever and ever and ever. She said to me, she says, I just wanted to pay my respects, but at the same time thank her for coming to this area, because without her coming and seeking her treatment and battling as hard as she did, that she would have never met me.
Right.
And that, I think, really
That's sweet.
made
I don't
me
remember any.
going.
You don't
But it worked.
It works, whatever. Yeah. Yes. And we also, Dave, we talk about in our group is that you will know the person for you because they will respect your life before that person.
Yes.
Exactly.
And respect that you did have a loving marriage before you met that person. And still, after that person's gone, you still can find someone and have a loving marriage.
Absolutely. And that's a red flag if they don't understand,
Right.
or if they feel threatened, or they feel like they're having to compete with that,
Memory.
that memory
Exactly.
and that
Yeah.
spouse. That's a big red flag.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I never felt that way with Ellen. Again, when you go into my home, all the pictures were still there and
Yeah.
everything like that. And she didn't say anything the first time around. She was kind of curious. But after we got married, and again, I just felt that it was the right time to start making some changes, and she hasn't suggested you got to take them down. I just said to myself, you know what? I'm moving on. I'm really feeling like this is this is terrific, and I'd like to move on. And I started to change pictures out. I still have other pictures around in different spots, but we've been
I
making.
feel we
a lot
just
of change.
added pictures.
We've added pictures.
added
Added, but we didn't take away. I don't
Right,
think.
right.
Yeah.
So how did you two meet? I always like to know how you met.
How did you two meet?
Ooh.
We met online.
Okay, that's where a lot of
That's
people
great.
meet. Yeah,
That's encouraging because there's a lot of people
Yes.
dating online right now.
there's a lot of people. yes.
The folks at the hospice during that time period after Bonnie passed suggest, we're just talking in general, and I had expressed my deep concern, like, hey, here I am, almost married 25 years,
Yeah.
and I'm isolated. That was the key. Isolated relative to the family being up in Pennsylvania, and me and my son being down here by ourselves.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have a lot of folks to turn to, and they kind of asked me a couple questions, and they suggested, well, you're looking for someone, a relationship, as they felt that eHarmony would be a good spot to,
Okay.
to
Okay,
start.
all right.
So,
Okay.
In hospice
And we're not
culture-
plugging
In
any
hospice.
platform
In
or any
hospice.
dating platform.
No,
No.
but hey,
Yeah.
it's nice to know.
Yeah.
People have, yeah.
Yeah, and again, and they explained to me that there was some of their friends that were successful in meeting folks in serious relationships, because I wasn't interested in like a non-serious relationship.
Right.
So, and my son and I had talked a little bit, and he knew that I would move back to Pennsylvania if I wasn't going to be happy here.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, look, Dad's got to seek to be happy. I said,
Yeah.
if you're
Right.
not happy, you got to change. So I signed up, and the good thing is that it had all those questions. It may have been a little exhausting at first, or kind of made you think about some of the answers, but I felt that, hey, if I put in 100%,
Right.
and somebody out there puts in 100% into their answers,
Yeah,
there'll be a
that's true.
connection. So I was very fortunate to find Ellen here. I think we were like 98%.
Said 99%
I don't know, whatever it
compatibility.
was.
Oh, that's
Really?
nice.
So
Wow.
That's high.
It was
I
pretty
know.
high.
That's high.
And honestly, it's accurate because I feel we're very compatible. We have a good relationship, but on paper, I don't think that I would have necessarily gone for him. on
Why do you
paper,
say that?
I
we have
understand.
different likes and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
We're different people, but
Right.
that's compatibility
That's
right
compati-
there.
yeah.
And maybe their algorithm knows more than
Yes. Absolutely.
miserable mortals. do.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
My current husband, I feel the same way. I don't know if we didn't meet
we have a
organically.
great
but still,
relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right,
that's good.
right.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah. I always say, who God has for you will be for you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Agreed.
Who God has for you, will be for you.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting that she said that, because, again, one of the things that I felt is that, the dating is different than, from 25 years ago. So the whole concept to me was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Now, I was very fortunate to find Ellen very quickly, within like a month and a half, probably.
That's fast.
That's good. Yeah, that's really
That's
fast.
really
Within
fast.
things.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think if you're just honest with yourself and you know what you're looking for, and you communicate well, I think is what it
Oh, I think
key
that's
is.
key,
That's
definitely.
huge. Yeah.
Now, how did your families how did Ellen's family accept you, Dave? And Dave, how did your family accept Ellen?
Oh,
Okay, I think my family was all for it. I lived at the time with my mom, and my daughter lived with me. My daughter, a young adult, and my mom, who's very elderly. And they were both for it. They were pushing for it. And honestly, I was not necessarily looking for marriage, because taking care of my mom and knowing that she was going to live with me till
Right.
the end, that I didn't think that, I will find somebody that will
Right.
take me up on it. So, I was looking to meet somebody and date, but, they wanted
Yeah.
to marry
Yeah.
me. I think that on his side, maybe his son, who was still living with him, was a bit, not upset, but didn't know what to expect. He was a little bit more weirded out by it.
Yeah.
But now we have a great relationship.
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's good.
Yeah, I think to Ellen's point, the my one son, when I first, like, grieving, I think was the key.
Yeah.
And as you go through that process, you start to kind of find yourself. And my son never quite, I think, opened up and finally, expressed himself relative to his mom's death. And so he was against me actually dating, which I found interesting because I told him I needed to be happy as well.
Right, yeah.
And so that is, to me, like some little friction. But as far as her family, I think her mom was very happy. Very happy when I approached her and asked for her hand, her
he
dad.
went old-fashioned.
Aw,
Yeah,
did you?
that's so
So,
nice.
That's sweet. That's
Yeah.
very
So
sweet.
nice.
And so she was very, very pleased. I don't even think I left the room before she was like calling people.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I would-
very sweet.
That's
That's
really
My
very
mom
sweet.
loves
Sweet.
him. Yes.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's good.
But it's interesting because her mom is funny. Again, I don't speak that much Spanish. I'm learning. I got my Duolingo. But
Okay,
her
that's
mom
good,
lives
that's
in her
good.
house, and she's a pleasure to be with. She tells me some great stories about Elle.
Uh-oh.
That's a good. She tells him in Spanish anyway.
Oh, okay.
He gets about half of it so far. He's like, that's why you're learning Spanish.
Exactly.
That's why you're learning Spanish. Yeah, that's funny. That's great.
That's good.
That's great. Well, it's interesting. It's, when we talk about two families coming together, you talk about, like a blended family. And it's different, when you have two divorced, or you have a widowed and divorced, or a widowed and never married.
Right.
It's all different. It's all so different. And it can be messy sometimes.
Yeah, it can. Challenging.
And very challenging, but it's so amazing. It's so beautiful when it does work out. And people come together and realize, like, this is for the benefit of everyone. Everyone has the same goal of just making two families come together and be happy.
Right, that's exactly right.
So,
No, the one thing I can say is that, coming down here and not having my family follow me,
Yeah.
Having at least her family somewhat locally, even though a lot of her brothers live a little further away, really touches me because it makes me feel wanted. Just like the family here with the Widow and Widowers group
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I joined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that to me was probably the most important part because that stabilized me initially and
good.
then allowed me to kind of, again, figure it out
Yeah.
and move forward.
yeah.
So how did you find our group, Dave?
Okay, so in hospice, well, first of all, I want to go back a little bit.
Okay,
and
sure.
I want people to realize that my wife and I had always a discussion after we realized the cancer was spreading a lot and things were looking less and less like she was going to make it. We talked about long-term things, and she always was open to me, thinking about the future because she was concerned not only about myself, but our two sons. And so we had lots of time to discuss it, unlike some folks.
Right.
This thing kind of took its time, but it was not where we wanted it to end.
Right.
So at some point, after she passed, I started feeling it, and that person at hospice said to me, okay, grieving, that's an important thing. Here's what here's what I suggest. So I joined a church group for the grieving part, and as I mentioned previously, if you're serious about looking to further your potentially date and everything, try this. And but they then said, you know what? There's another group here I might want to recommend, and they suggested your group. You know, the widow and widowers. That's what they said, widow and widowers. So I said, okay, that sounds like a good thing. And so, being the person I am, because I don't want to sit around and just kind of spin.
Right.
And I certainly realized that my son was spinning because he didn't seem to be improving relative to his mindset. So I said, I'm going to do everything to advance. So I immediately contacted, I forget who I contacted, whether it's Terry, I don't know, or Michelle.
I think it was me.
I want to say I think it's Michelle.
Yeah, it might have been Michelle.
I think it's me.
Anyway, found out the first time that you all were going to meet, and it happened to be your holiday party.
Right, exactly. Yep.
It was.
Which was an interesting experience in and of itself. But but that was the first time back there in December of 80 or
2018.
2018.
We're old.
2018.
2018. 19. No.
2018.
That's we're getting old. It's the 1900s first.
Yeah.
But no, that's 2018. I remember because we had our Christmas party.
Yes.
At a
Mexican restaurant.
Mexican.
La Hacienda.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And we had booked the back room, and we got there, and they had
It was
decorated. It was
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was a big party that night. I remember you
did.
coming.
It was very big.
It was a big
Yeah.
party that night. It was really fun. It was
Met
a
a
really
lot
fun
of
party.
met a lot of folks.
Yeah.
A lot of
you did.
people.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that was our first time to
Yes.
meet you. So,
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
No, and again, that's the first step, that you just got to get out there and start to do your grieving and start to because everyone there was kind of something happened to them.
That's
as well.
exactly
Something
right.
happened to someone they really cared about. So
Right.
I felt very changed after that evening.
Good.
I enjoyed myself immensely, and that just encouraged me to continue to come back and listen to people's stories. I mean, the format and everything was perfect. And again, you got to do it yourself.
Yes.
The time, the way that you do it is on your timeline. Everyone's different. And I just felt that because I had advanced warning of her illness and the way it was kind of progressing, that not only did I have a chance to discuss it with then my current spouse, but that I also inside started to kind of feel like, okay, I gotta, kind of be prepared when the challenge hits.
Right.
And once she passed, that I think, she gave me that ability to prepare it because she wanted me to be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
as
Right.
well.
Definitely.
We had that time to realize she's not going to get better.
Yeah.
And I think that grieving process starts then because this is it. You've kind of not to come to terms with it, but it starts to set in, earlier. And so you had some time to start grieving before she even passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that also brings up the one area that you don't feel too good about as far as within yourself is that, and I call it the woulda, coulda, shoulda syndrome.
Yeah.
Because again, I look at my success and what I should have been focused on is the time, doing more with the family. I mean, we did our vacations and everything, but you just think about the little things that you should have probably done and you just didn't do it for some reason or another, and you look back and say, well, I'll never get to do it because
Right.
I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I think every one of us feel that way.
We all feel that way.
We all feel that way, no matter what happened, how they passed, if it was sudden, if it wasn't sudden.
Right.
I think everybody has that woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
And that's why Ellen and I think, also do well because, I mean, she's an adventurer, but at the same time, I think she realizes that I'm for anything, and at this point, I'm not.
Both getting close to retirement, so we're looking, our sights are set on planning for that. So we're open for, let's go here, let's go there.
Right.
That's good.
Right. That's good.
That's really good.
I think that when you become a widow or a widower, it changes your outlook on life.
Absolutely.
You do want to enjoy life more, have more adventures, make more special moments because that person can be gone at any time.
So true.
Yes, absolutely. And I got the book Die With Zero, and believe me,
Oh, I never heard
It's
of that
a great-
book.
Die with Zero?
Die with Zero.
Die with
Okay.
Zero. I like
And
that.
even Ellen listened to it. It's basically about making the memories and enjoying life while you're here
Yep.
with your family and friends.
Yeah.
Because, as they said, even if you saved a gazillion dollars,
That's right. Can't take it with you.
you can't take it with you. And if you saved your gazillion dollars and your health is not there,
Right.
guess what? It's worthless.
It's
That's
worthless.
exactly
You're
right.
right.
That's
You're
right.
right. It's true.
You know, when your spouse or somebody asks you to do something, and once you don't realize how special that is for
Right.
them, and so you might think, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do it,
Right. Yeah.
but just blow it off. But no, there's a reason
Why they're
do
asking.
it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you got to recognize that because you only got that one chance
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no regrets, or,
No
or
regrets.
as little regrets as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Right.
muster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true.
Exactly.
It's
So,
true.
Yeah.
I think too, like every time when you lose somebody, especially when you're younger, like we were.
Yeah.
Every time I see like my current husband walk out the door or my kids walk out the door, I always have to say, "I love you. Be careful."
Always.
Hug, kiss, whatever. Because you never know. Like
Always.
we've lived that time where it's like we thought we'd get more opportunities to say
Yep.
that, and we didn't.
We thought we were going to have more time.
We thought we'd have more time.
More time.
Right, and we didn't. So
Yeah.
I think it's very important. Like not even marriages, but just
And
friendships.
people in general.
Yeah,
people
friendships
care
and
about. Yeah.
relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Any
absolutely.
relationship.
Absolutely. So.
Looks like
Absolutely.
Ellen wanted to say something. No? No?
We had the privilege of attending your marriage.
Yeah,
your
it was
wedding.
wonderful
Yes.
and
Your wedding.
beautiful.
It was so
Yes,
fun. It
yes.
was beautiful. It was such a good,
It was
such a
beautiful.
good night. Such a fun time.
COVID
Yeah.
It
wedding.
was a COVID
It was a
wedding.
Yeah, it was
post-COVID
a
wedding.
wedding.
Yes, unfortunately, but it's,
Yeah.
yes, it was good.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was
And me and
fun.
Michelle, we were so excited. We were like, it's nice to share great memories with our friends. And it was just beautiful. Me and Michelle were like, we're so happy.
We're so happy. So happy. Yes. We had this vision and this goal of our support group of what we want to look like
Yes.
and how we want people to benefit from the community that we start.
Right.
And so, like coming to your wedding and then coming to others' weddings before yours, that we've known
Right.
from our group, and just seeing the progression of people coming in, like Terry says,
The lowest low.
lowest low,
At their lowest low.
and then seeing where it leads to either a wedding or just being super happy and confident again and where they are in life. It makes it all worthwhile for us.
It does. It does.
Definitely,
It does.
definitely. Very
And I
much
always
a
say
blessing.
we are among the living, so we have to continue to live no matter what that looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, like I mentioned, I mean, the group was kind of like my bedrock. Being here myself, my son being, young and still.
Yeah.
Right. Because you guys are from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the point being is that you just gather as many friends as you can and enjoy life.
That's
and
exactly right.
share what you can share, and people will make of it what they need to make of it, and
Yeah.
make their own decisions in the long term. But I appreciate the group. That really helped me. That put me, rather than, crawling, I think I was on rocket skis at that point once I started to participate. Because again, I know that, each person participated differently, but
Sure.
I was probably a little bit shy initially.
Yeah, yeah.
And, but I was taking it in, and as I listened to to people, giving their stories, giving their ideas and stuff, and sharing, it just allowed me again to create something and figure out where I was and what I was stood for, and again, what I really wanted, which is to find someone
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
congratulations, Al.
He's like, you're welcome. You're welcome. Your face.
I know.
I love it.
I love it too. Yeah, I was gonna say our
good.
major mission is for no one to get stuck,
Yes.
and you definitely did not get stuck, Dave.
No, you
I
didn't.
appreciate it. I only got
Sounds
stuck
great.
on some things. Some questions I asked you probably were.
Well, the one thing is you asked a lot of questions, which was really, really good. You asked a lot of questions.
Yes,
Yeah,
which is
good.
which is great, but that helped you in your
Right.
grief journey move along faster instead
Yeah.
of hiding
Definitely.
hiding in your house, not getting out, not
Right.
as I said, doing the work asking
do
the
the work.
questions, going to support group meetings, going to counseling if it needs to be done, and makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does.
And
Makes a
again,
huge
the
difference.
sense of family is really
Yeah.
what it
Yes.
was, is that everyone was family. I mean,
good.
and
Yeah.
still will be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Always.
It
we
doesn't
still
matter.
are.
Always
You
Okay.
ain't getting rid of us.
Sorry.
You stuck with us too, Ellen. Sorry.
He came with another package deal.
Right, yeah.
I'm just his family, but his extended
Yeah,
family.
the family of
There you go.
choice.
That's right, family
Yeah,
of choice.
family of choice.
She hates my extensions of family because they extend too much.
I think that when we met, he was he had an open heart and he was ready to listen.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation, and he made himself noticeable because he introduced himself with like a long thought out introduction, not just like it's sometimes happens and the apps that it's just like hello.
With a little wink, yeah. Yeah.
No. He told me I'm a widower. I'm not from around here. I can't remember exactly what it was. I wish I had saved it.
Saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saved it.
And then we had a deep conversation when we met. We met within a week of just starting to
Yes,
talk.
absolutely, because I couldn't, I'm not a typist.
And
Right.
and I had recently at that time read an article because I was in the app, so I was interested in that, about how to have a conversation for deeper a deeper connection. The 25 questions.
Okay.
Something. And I read it and I had them fresh in my mind. So, it really, we had a very long
I
conversation.
was
That's
gonna
good.
say,
Really
Yeah.
good, though.
That's
That's
but
good.
I never saw my score sheet.
Well, you must have passed then. You must have passed.
We joke a lot about that.
We'll talk about later. Off camera.
Oh, that's good.
That's neat though. That's good.
That's good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that was the one thing that, again, I forget, somebody said something about differentiating yourself during this process of getting back into the dating pool. So I got a rose, and it was and it's interesting because we decided to go back to the Madeline, which is where we were meeting
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
felt safe in that territory.
Right, I felt safe. I needed my
Okay.
safe haven.
Right.
But here
been
I am
there.
standing there with this rose in my hand,
Oh.
looking at the time saying, well, this person's late. That's a red flag.
Honestly, there was traffic. I was literally like 4 minutes late, and I was texting him,
4
sorry,
minutes.
there is traffic.
Right.
I'll be right there. 4 minutes late. He still brings it up.
I don't think
Almost left me there hanging.
4 minutes or 20 minutes,
That's
whatever. It
hilarious.
felt
Yeah,
like
that's
Not
funny.
20
it
minutes.
felt
That's
it felt
hilarious.
like a long time, and I kept looking around, watching people stare at me.
And you know when you meet somebody from the app,
Yeah.
like you're not sure what they're gonna look like.
Right. Yeah.
Picture is
Yeah.
one
They may
thing,
not
and
look
then
like
it comes
themselves.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he showed up with a rose, and I was just so taken aback by it.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's so sweet.
That's so sweet.
That's a good idea too.
That is a good idea.
That's a
Well,
really good idea.
I figured you gotta
I fell for it, okay? I fell for it.
you have to differentiate yourself.
Yes,
That's
you
right.
do. Yes,
That
you
is
do.
So true.
That's
So
good.
true.
Yeah.
But she left me hanging there for a little bit of time. Like I said, I
It's
don't.
like 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I think too, like when you realize like, oh my gosh, I'm dating again, the nerves set in.
Yeah.
The nerves really set in too.
Actually, it's interesting. I think you're right in some respects, but call it being naive a little bit too. But I think our first initial discussion and sit down. We
I
were
don't
just
think
sitting
he
there.
came across as nervous the first
I
time we
was-
met.
because
And I was not nervous. I was not nervous. I was meeting some people out there. I had been in the apps. And I was kind of like tired of the whole thing. So I was more jaded at that point. I think he was more nervous at our second date. Don't
Okay.
you agree?
maybe not. If you felt that way,
Maybe so.
I don't know. The point being is that once you get to talk to someone, because again, I really felt that having that face to face early versus
Yes.
spending weeks and
Yeah,
weeks
no.
on just typing
Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
was important to me, because to me, A, I don't enjoy typing, and B, I don't know who I'm
Yeah, you don't know
typing
who
to,
you're
Right.
talking to.
other
That's
than
exactly
you know
right.
what
Yeah.
they say.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I felt that was important. And once I met her and realized that she had very similar backgrounds, very similar schooling, very similar situations, you know, mothers that were, you know, getting older, and you know, one kid and you know, like
Right.
two
Still at
type
home.
of
Yeah,
thing.
still
So,
at home, yeah.
so it was just, you know, it was just very interesting how similar we had in, you know, but we lived so far apart, relatively
Right.
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah.
So,
Right. Right. But that's-
We don't live so far apart.
Well,
Our
no.
towns, it's 20 minutes.
well, no, but I'm talking about like
Oh.
you came up in like
Oh, okay.
in Mexico. you
Oh,
know,
okay.
Pennsylvania.
Formative years.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right,
Growing
right.
up, yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So it just gives you that like feeling like here's someone that, you know, thousands of miles from where I was born
Right.
from to where they were born. And
Yeah, we both went to Catholic schools growing up. So we both have jokes about the nuns and what
Okay.
have you.
Sorry, sister.
And he likes soccer, and he teases me about soccer.
Oh, soccer.
okay.
The fit. The,
Soccer.
what do they
He
call that?
says-
Catfishing.
He says that I catfish him with the soccer.
Yes. Remember to read
He
the
was
profiles
crazy
closely.
about
That's
soccer.
funny.
Funny. That's funny.
Until she went till I challenged her and I said, "Oh, I'm a season ticket holder. You know, let's go to a game."
We went to games.
So we went to
yeah.
a game, and of course it was raining cats and dogs.
Oh no.
We were punches. We still have the pictures.
Yes, we did.
That's cute. That's so cute.
But
That's good.
That's great. Well, you guys seem like it's such a good fit.
Yes, definitely.
So we're so glad you guys found each other so quickly too,
Yes.
which is a miracle in itself. But it's a testament to like just, you know, having the faith that things will work out.
Yeah.
God's got us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
His plan is
Yeah.
His plan is good. You know,
That's
if we just
exactly
follow,
right.
follow his steps. Yeah.
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 no,
So
keep moving forward. You
That's
know,
it.
know yourself and know what you're looking for, and feel it deep. Don't, you know, because this is the whole thing. You
Right.
know, if you don't feel it all the way down to here, if you're
Right.
only feeling it here, you know,
Right.
but you got to feel it there. And
absolutely.
That's true.
I
Absolutely.
think that's my guiding light, I guess, for
Yeah.
lack
Yeah.
of better words.
Awesome.
That's true.
That's awesome.
Ellen, would you like to add anything?
No, I think
Good.
Yeah.
we're good.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much
Thank you
for
so much.
for talking to us today.
Thank you, ladies.
And if you are watching this video and you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you'd like to join us for one of our support group meetings, the Widows Helping Widows, please find us on meetup.com. It's probably the easiest place to find us.
Yes, it
You can
is.
search meetup.com, Widows Helping Widows, and it should pop up. Our group should be there. You should see our faces on the meetup group. And all of our information is on there, but when we're meeting, where we're meeting, and we'd love for you to join us.
Yes, we would. Well, thank you so much again, and thank you,
welcome.
everybody. And please leave a comment if you want to say something or you have any suggestions about our podcast. We would love to hear it.
Yes, thank you so much. And you can also email us at widowshelpingwidowstx@gmail.com. And you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching,
Thank
and
you.
we hope you have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.